I'm going to do one more video today. I'm going to read from this book, Simply A Course in Miracles. Lawalani is the author of my pen name. It's on Amazon. And I will start putting the link to this book in the video. I will do that today. So you can click on it if you want to order the book. I don't really get much from you ordering the book. If you feel inspired to write a review, that would be great. You know, if the book sold 1,000 copies, then I would make some money probably. But, you know, a few people here and there buying the book is not going to make that much of a difference, but I think it's a good book. So, you know, it's more of an offering on my part until, you know, it reaches 1 million people, and then, you know, I have doubts that it will, but anyway, here we go. I'm gonna read Albert Einstein, some of his quotes. As you know, as everyone knows, he's back there, you know, on the wall. Albert Einstein, he was the man. He was a great physicist, a great scientist, but he was also very spiritual and very mystically aware, let's say. And you will see that from some of these quotes. He had really some great things to say about religion and mysticism and spirituality. Anyway, let's read. The only source of knowledge is experience. The only source of knowledge is experience. Empiricism, right? The empirical truth. You know, you base your epistemology, meaning what you know, on what you've experienced as true. Unless you've experienced something as true, you don't really know. You believe, right? That's the difference between knowledge and belief. So, thanks, Albert. That was a great one. We can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. So, I'm trying to compare this with A Course in Miracles. So, one way to understand this in light of A Course in Miracles is we can't understand what Jesus is talking about in the Course from where we are, because we're stuck in the illusion, right? We're in the dream. We're in our ego. How can the ego dissolve the ego? We need some kind of help from outside of ourselves, and that would be the light of the Holy Spirit, which is the voice, what Jesus calls the voice for God, which really is right there within us as well, but we don't listen to that voice. We've learned not to listen to that voice. So Jesus in the Course is trying to help us to learn to listen to that voice. And the voice is right there in your heart of hearts. So anyway, we'll move on. Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. This is a great one, right? This is like one that gives people that do A Course in Miracles you know, an idea that they're not crazy, right? Because Einstein said that, and I'm sure Helen knew Einstein and knew what Einstein said, because she was, you know, I don't know when Einstein died, but it doesn't matter. But you know, his quotes, some of these quotes, everyone knew, right? I do not believe in a personal God, and I have never denied this, but have expressed it clearly. I do not believe in a personal God, and I've never denied this, but I've expressed it clearly. Ultimately, God is not personal. Now, Einstein seems to suggest that he believes in an impersonal God. I was watching this video yesterday of a Hare Krishna guy, teacher, a great teacher actually, talking about the impersonalists and how the impersonalists are getting it wrong, and that Krishna is the Supreme Personality, and that the highest goal is to be in loving worship of Krishna for eternity. And you know, Einstein is saying no, not for him, at least. So, go figure. Moving on, though. I have more to say about that, but we'll leave it. The idea, then he says, The idea of a personal God, the idea of a personal God is an anthropological concept which I am unable to take seriously. Now, again, I think he did believe in God, but not it as a personal God. And this is, like Freud. Freud was the same way. He's saying this is an anthropological concept, meaning this is a man-made concept, a personal God. We've created God in our own image, and this is not really different from what A Course in Miracles teaches, and this is not really different than what Freud said as well. When the solution is simple, God is answering. This is a great one. When the solution is simple, God is answering. He was all about the simple answer, right? That's God, the simple answer. And then I have a quote at the beginning of the book with Einstein there. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. If you cannot explain it simply, you do not understand it well enough. And that's true of teaching A Course in Miracles. If you can't teach it simply, God is love, and just be loving for God's sake. That's A Course in Miracles in a nutshell. That's what I would say right now, off the cuff. God is love, damn it. And if you can't be loving, then God damn it, you're not being like God. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. Right? What is the intuitive mind? The intuitive mind is what the Course calls the Holy Spirit. Right? The rational mind can also be guided by the Holy Spirit. Reason certainly can be guided by the Holy Spirit, but there's a point at which reason can go no further. That's where intuition comes in, and that's where you might say mysticism comes in, or spirituality, where science cannot go any further. When science and logic cannot go any further, that's where faith, spirituality, and mysticism would come into the picture. And and Einstein is here saying that intuition is the highest. Reason is the servant of intuition. Reason is to take us to our intuition. In other words, reason, logic leads us to spirit. When we've gotten to spirit, then we don't need, we've made it. And we need to listen to that versus our reason, because that trumps reason. Not to bring Trump into this, but sorry. Anyway. He did good. I think he did a good job in the debate, besides the fact that he lied, it was a lie every 10 seconds, but he other than that, he did a good job. A human being is a part of the whole called by us universe. This is one of the most famous quotes from Einstein. A human being is a part of the whole called by us universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for a few persons nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole nature in its beauty. I think the whole of nature. There's a few typos here, but I'll read it one more time. A human being is a part of the whole called by us universe. He doesn't say God, he says universe. That's okay. A part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. So separation. Separation is not real, he's saying. This is what the Course teaches. This delusion is a kind of prison, restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for a few persons nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion. compassion, forgiveness, right? To embrace all living creatures and the whole nature in its beauty. The whole of nature, the whole nature. Thanks, Einstein. That was amazing. You, yeah, he rocked. He knocked it out of the park. He rocked the world. And his, these are immortal quotes that will live on forever. From here to eternity. Coming from eternity, I would say, he was a tuned in dude. Was he perfect? No, probably not. He had, I'm sure he had his own, but he touched it, right? He touched the truth, and he was able to share it. And that's all that really floats my boat. I don't know about yours, but and I thank you so much for listening, and so much for tuning in, and I hope it's helping and floating your boat, and we'll see you in the sunship on the next go round tomorrow. Okay, thanks. Bye.